and further implements the action items contained in the report, and that the township office be deemed a non-public enclosed space when required to protect staff and the public during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this will be at the discretion of the mayor and the CAO. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Robinson. And I will ask for comments or questions.
I think I can go into the report.
Okay, I'll ask staff how to proceed with the report.
So as council probably knows, there's been a lot of things coming out in the last week, and it's hard to dissect everything, and there's a lot of confusion on where you wear a mask, where you don't wear a mask, and what's open and what's not open. So going through all that stuff, we get comfortable with what our business is and what we can do. So phase 3 permits indoor meetings of up to 50 people, outdoor meetings up to 100 people, and the opening of playground structures and the rental of sports equipment. So council has the ability to permit residents to attend public meetings, providing residents wear masks, are screened for symptoms, and maintain physical distancing. It must be clearly understood that if the public are permitted inside the building, that it is considered a public space, and all public enclosed space protocols apply, including the mandatory wearing of masks by everyone. By keeping the office closed to the public, it is not considered a public enclosed space. Physical distancing is still required, but the wearing a mask is not. On a conference call with the CAOs of the county, the Renfrew County District Health Unit recommends strongly, the word there were strongly there, that council should continue to meet virtually without public physical attendance. They're encouraging that if we don't have to have groups, not to have groups. So going further than that and looking at this room in general, based on the size and configuration of the council chamber and subtracting the space occupied by furniture and fixtures, the total capacity of the room is 11, providing all persons stay in their allotted 2 meter spacing within the room. Normal meetings are generally 5 councillors and 2 staff members. The remaining 4 safe spaces could be occupied by invited delegates or delegations or individuals. With only 4 spaces at a normal meeting, there would not be the opportunity to guarantee a seat for a resident that wishes to attend the meeting. It is recommended that council at this time remain status quo with no public physical distance presence, permitted at the meeting. So there wouldn't be public at the meetings. So just to make council understand the configuration of the room and help grasp it, when we looked at the room's basically 26 by 33, and then we put that into meters. And we divided up, there's 20 slots in the room. But then we have to subtract this cabinet behind. Then we have to subtract the screen. Then we have to subtract the filing cabinet. Then we have to subtract the code, and then the configuration of tables. And that's how we get to the 11. So part of our managing this world is we put two meter spacing behind beside Melvin over there on the floor. It's in red. And for demonstration purposes, and we're using this, so if we have to bring a person in for a planning matter, and we have a little red line, you come into here. So if you stand here, and I'm talking to the person, I have to stand here. And if we were to bring all of council here, and I stood in this corner, Mel could stand there, Jenna could stand there, Ray could stand there, Jane will have to stay over there. So the room should start spacing out. So if you went to what we could do in this room, based on the configuration you have right now, which is a comfortable configuration because they're all better spacing, you could possibly do, if someone stands right in the corner, and then someone stands there, you could almost do 4 people there. So, because you can't have anyone in this space because now you're close to Melvin. So it makes sense not to open this room up. And once you open this room up, that means any door that's open in this office is a mask space now. If we keep the door locked over there and people out of there, then the office itself could be mask free. But that's the way the protocols work right now. So right now, we don't have people coming into the office, and we have a little drive-through window people are coming up to. It's working really good. We have a protocol that we put in place that if someone comes to the office and we can't deal with them outside, then we bring that person in with a mask, and we have green lines to the counter. We take it to the counter, and if it was a planning matter where I had to put a map out, then they would stay in their box. So we have a system that works here as long as we keep going the way we're going. And I know I'm not reading verbatim from my report. One thing that we have coming up is there's some planning matters that have to go to a public meeting. And what I'm recommending for public meetings is that we could still have a meeting at Melissa Bishop Park. And we can open it up for a planning matter. Everyone can stay there 2 meters apart. And planning matters are usually generally about 5 or 10 minutes. And you can have a display board. And normally we're not going to get 100 people. But I would say that you'd be quite comfortable saying this is an open public meeting and anybody can come. And if you got to over 100, then you have a problem. But normally you're not going to be over 100. You can have time for them to review it. And then some of those planning matters can go through now. Otherwise, if you have a planning matter here, and we'll say it's a minor variance, and you have the neighbor on each side, and you have the person that's doing the variance, plus their consultant doing the plans, now you got no public meeting because you filled your room up. But at least by doing your planning meetings out of outside space, and Melissa Bishop Park is closed, you could do those, you could have those things happen, which in the world of an economy that we want to start getting going again, we don't want to stop those things. So that's what we'd like to do for those meetings. So going a little further in my report, and just all the stuff about masking, and I pretty well explained that to you. We would be able to have the hub equipment open. But both the health unit and the province created the legislation says it has to be completely sanitized between each use. We don't have the capacity to have a compressor and a power washer there to do each kayak. And if we're doing it with a bleach solution, we can't have it regular water, so it makes it very difficult. So we're not getting a demand for the kayaks right now. So I would suggest that rather than do a whole new protocol, just leave the kayak stuff alone for now. Playground equipment can now be opened. Unfortunately, the province didn't provide the health units with any information on what they consider cleaning up the playground unit. So the health unit's basically saying, do what you can do. Can we sanitize and spray all the equipment? We can't do that every day. We don't have the capacity to purchase the equipment. So what we did in our news release yesterday is we told people that the equipment would be open officially on Monday. It's actually going to be open today, but officially on Monday. And that the parents have to be responsible for their children. They have to make sure their hands are washed when they get on and their hands are washed when they get off, and they're COVID free. And we put extra signage up for that. So playground stuff will be open as of Monday. It's unofficially open today.
So more to use at your own risk.
Basically, but the signage is there.
Andrew, did you mention about the hub equipment not being, we're not going to rent it out this year?
I have not mentioned that in my address.
That is that's a funny sentence, is not recommended that hub equipment be rented. I would have said it's not, we're not renting out hub equipment this year. Anyway.
Well, so it's up to you. You could say rent the equipment, I have to come up with the stuff. That's why I said that. Township workers have been doing fantastic. We haven't had COVID-19 positive anything in our world, so we're continuing with the required screening. I don't know if anyone has any of those sheets. Do you have your sheet in front of you that you filled out?
No, I put mine back.
Because it would tell us I think we're up to about 70 or 80 sheets that we've done since we started this, so we're really diligent in doing that. Also, our staff have now gone into a policy that when there's more than one staff in a vehicle, they wear masks. It's safety, but it's also public perception that we're doing it too. And if we have people that we do escort to this building, then the mask protocol is in place. So we've been doing very good. I've heard other talk in other municipalities about the stress level going up so much with reopening and things like that. Our staff are very happy with what we've done, and I think we've done some pretty good things. So,
Does the people at transfer site have to wear masks and the shields or anything?
So it's not an enclosed space, so they don't have to, but we provide them if they want to. And it's very important that our transportation staff get the message, and apparently I had a bit of a problem with one on the weekend that there wasn't the information going out that was supposed to go out, so we fixed that through staffing. But no, they're not required officially to wear masks. But they are required to do the spacing. And the transfer stations have been going very well. The money thing now with the cash box is so smooth and so accurate when it gets to the year, because we know exactly, it's got to match the sheet that you have. So it's working really good. So we've got a really good accountability thing, and you know, it's nice for our budget to have some money coming in again. There's some alternatives to what I said out there. You could allow public to come to meetings, first come, first serve, but you might have someone standing at the door saying, I can't get in. Or you might have someone that's not, and actually, if you saw the news yesterday, there was a man in Halliburton that was actually shot by the police because he refused to wear a mask in the store, and he got mad. He started hitting this person in the store, and then he drove out, hit a truck, and then went home, and there was an altercation with the police, and he was shot dead. So, you know, it's pretty scary sometimes when things like that happen. So by doing our protocol, we're protecting ourselves very well. And, you know, what's going to come out of that incident is he was being told he couldn't come and wear a mask, and he wanted to wear a mask, but our health unit is saying, if someone's not wearing a mask, don't fight them to say, you know, that's our protocol. But stores do what they built and say, no, you can't. It's our private property. But anyway, we're not even close to that because we found a way to make people happy and to still serve people. The other alternative to having a meeting at Elizabeth Bishop Park is just say don't have planning meetings, but now you're going to stop planning from having, or have all planning meetings as a virtual format. Other municipalities are doing that. I think that's very difficult for people because planning is a visual thing. And having a place where people can actually put their hand up to talk is a lot better in a planning meeting, because the virtual format, if someone's connection goes down or something like that, they can't talk. So planning meetings are one place where people have to talk. So that's basically what we're doing here. If council agrees, and the reason I put the mayor and the CAO have the ability to change this, it's because things can change really rapidly, and you may have to close things down even more. And it's basically the power that we gave the mayor and the CAO on the COVID-19 in the first place. So basically, we're going to go and do this enclosed space thing, but if we have to loosen it, and where I see it changing rapidly is on a rainy day, we're going to say, well, people can come in here, but they just have to wear masks, and we can't serve you at the window because things are just going to get wet. So if there's a time when we have to change things, it just allows us to change things without coming back to council.
Thank you for that report, Councilor Matilda.
Okay, so I hear what Ed is saying and what the health unit's saying and stuff. I guess I believe that the COVID pandemic is going to last a long time. It's not going to be done by fall. It's not going to be done by Christmas. It could be like this before. And there are some residents that do enjoy coming to the meetings. And I think my problem is if we don't allow them to come here, then somehow we have to get our IT better so that they can hear. A lot of people complain about the fact they can't hear us and stuff like that. And I know we can't use the microphones because it creates feedback with Mr. Owl. So if we decide to go like we are now at status quo, is there anything we can do to enhance our presence in the community so people can hear us? Whether it's like some churches now, they bought like some kind of big iPad and they kind of live stream that through YouTube. Is there anything we can do so the public can hear what's going on in our council meetings? Because I believe this is going to go on for a while. So can we be proactive now and think of a solution so that if people want to see what's going on, they can? Now I realize our internet and all that other stuff is a major negative factor here, but other townships are managing to live stream better than we are. So is there something we can do?
So the answer from staff is we're going to keep trying. A lot of townships are using the same technology as the OWL. A lot of them have better internet connections than we do. We're going to continue to try to get better. Some townships are not even doing live meetings. What they're doing is they're doing exactly what we're doing now. We're recording the meeting and then putting it on after. we're actually trying to get that live stream of some sort. So if we were doing a recording, would we put it on after, or would it be a perfect recording? And I guess the attitude is, if you hear the meeting an hour after it happened, you weren't able to participate in the meeting anyway, so are you getting the same thing? Some are interpreting that, but this council wants to try to do live, and we're trying to do it, we're trying to do it the best way we can. So as more technology becomes available, or, you know, I'm meeting the CAOs and they're all having the same issues with these things. They have some different names for different people, but they are trying to get out. Some are doing less than we are, some are doing more. But we're going to try to continue to try to get there.
Councilor,
I guess understanding that we're still working that out, but at the same time, could we do both? So you're streaming it and recording it, and then put the recording up as uninterrupted.
And that's what we're doing. We're already doing that now.
Okay.
We're going, this meeting is live, and Laura will download the information, which there's a process of the delay there, so it's usually the next day, but we are putting it up. So the videos are there.
And could we ask the public what's the major issue? Is it the voice, is it the volume or something like that? And then you can maybe address that.
We tried to address, and we've asked people, we're getting feedback. We've had our staff listening from remote areas and difficult areas. It comes down, as our technicians say, sometimes to the equipment, to what's at the other end, and we can't control that.
Okay, because I'm just thinking this is serious too.
A lot of people now say they have a hard time getting on the internet for so many people using it too. That's a big problem.
and I would agree with that, because even the other day when I was trying to send Laura some of the information that she needed for the meeting, the one day I couldn't even get on the internet to send it.
No, I couldn't get online. I couldn't get online this morning. I'm on at 6 o'clock, and that's when I tried it on before. I couldn't get on 6 o'clock this morning. Other mornings, they popped right up, and not this morning.
Right.
I know it was heavy clouds this morning, that's something like that.
Is this something you could take back to the county and once again take back to the province? The county takes it back to the province or something, just saying.
We certainly
You
are.
know, but just as another, like, you know, like how people can be a pain in the butt. I think we have to be a pain in the butt. Like, so you really send it every time you have a meeting. Because I just think that if we want this to look open and transparent and have public involved, they have to have the ability to see us, right? And we don't have the ability right now just because of the way the technology is, right? So the government has to realize this and give us some monies. We don't have major transit issues here, right? But we do have kind of electronic major transit issues, and maybe some of that money has to go to that as opposed to getting us a new bus or something.
And just to follow up on that comment, and I agree with it 100%, and the county certainly is working on that and pushing as hard as they can through AMO, through FCM, and of course through the county and our local MVPs to try and get better broadband service. The other thing the county, that was passed at our last county meeting, was that they want to survey all of the municipalities and get some feedback on the speeds, both the uploads and the downloads. Because some of them have that information already at the county meeting, and it's all over the map. Some of them are really, really good, others are terrible.
Yes.
So yeah, it certainly is something that we would like to see at the county level as well, a more consistent and better delivery of that service, so we can all benefit from the technology.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a question, when we did our Canada Day presentation, was that through Zoom or was that through YouTube? And that one did seem to work out fairly well.
I had a doctor recruitment meeting a couple Fridays ago, and we had like 6 people, and it worked really well, better than the last Zoom meeting that I was with, right? So I mean, it depends. It was like at 4:30 in the evening, so maybe it was just a quiet time, right? But I mean, yeah, there was a high degree of frustration with everyone.
Yeah. The only other suggestion I would have, could we do our planning, and I know we're limited to this space and number of people, but could we do planning at the Golden Lake Community Center? We're good for what?
So we
Not many people there?
Unfortunately, when you put a configuration tables in, this room is not, it's not much different from two rooms.
What about the Rankin Community Center? It's definitely bigger.
You could possibly rent a community center.
That's a possibility.
I mean, the one nice thing about that community center is it is a big rectangle, right? You don't have lots of alcoves and stuff like that.
I believe they suspended rentals.
But they may, I mean, if you were to call them, they may.
It would be a public space where everyone would have to wear masks.
But I mean, it's just standing there doing nothing anyway. There's no info coming in. And as time goes on, maybe they will start renting it, like now if you can have a meeting of 50, you could have like a get together or some sort or something.
So that would be my only recommendation, then maybe that we add in there that fire meetings could be at Melissa Bishop Park and or possibly the Rankin Community Center.
We'd have to ask them, like, but I mean, you know.
If available. Do I have to add that to this resolution?
I think that we'll just, if you just leave it out, it's okay, because we'll just do it if we can.
Okay. So if council's okay with that, I'll call for the vote. Council Burns,
Yes.
Council Riker Schunfeld,
Yes,
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Yes, that's very. And then we get to item, is there a 3 point, is there another one to the COVID? I just have the 3.2.
It was just information.
Okay. 3.2A.
That was just the information that we sent council, and that was the report I read.
Is that the one also that talks about, that's one about the stage 3 opening up?
Yes,
Okay,
it's all covered.
okay, we covered it. Okay, thank you. So then we move to item 3.3, which is the Wiltshire Valley Federal Support Resolution. And actually, I'll turn that over to staff because there's some current information or recent information that just came through yesterday.
So I gave everyone a copy of the AMO thing on the policy update. But it also states that the federal government and the province have already made their agreement on funding. So this is probably a little bit redundant because it's already been decided what the federal government, what the provincial government are going to do. And it's probably not the time to be rather than change when they've already made an agreement. Where the provincial government flanked the federal government for what they've done.
Yeah, listening to the news this morning, it sounds like all the provinces have agreed to the funding that the feds have increased and approved for the various provinces.
can you move it up a little bit, Andrew, please? Thank you.
So the amount of funding that's been agreed to Ontario is $7 billion, which is an amount out of 14 million that's going to all the provinces. And just a little history on this, and maybe help a little bit. When we were in the fall with all the mayors and Premier Ford, Jennifer Murphy, mayor of Wiltshire Valley, said, "What else can we do to help you, Premier Ford?" And he said, "Well, just get, lobby the federal government for support." And since that meeting, that deal has been made. It says in the press release here that the Premier believes this is a great deal and personally thanks Ontario's 44 mayors for unwavering support for these federal provincial negotiations. things, so I think it's a done deal now, so this is somewhat redundant.
But is it something now where we want to lobby the Ontario government for certain things like?
Well, that's not what this really
I know.
does, it's more the federal, so maybe it's something later, that's a different resolution.
That's right, that's what I'm thinking down the road, because I want to lobby for better broadband, you know what I mean? That's really what
And this was discussed even with the province and that, the premier meeting.
Yeah.
So you might just want to withdraw this one for now.
Well, I agree, it does seem kind of redundant, but it would be nice to have one that says, I'm getting some money, it's strictly for rural Ontario, and not just cities.
And I believe every, one of the 444 municipalities, with the exception maybe of those in Toronto and larger cities, but they are all pushing as well to get, especially with the COVID, because trying to have your children access online learning and people working from home and being able to do online business, it's become a real challenge, especially for rural Ontario. So there's certainly a huge push, including Ramsey County, to improve that service.
Mhm.
It's the feeling being it should be just like hydro when hydro came in. You know, they just said this will be something that everybody has equal opportunity to have access to.
That's right, equal and affordable,
Yes.
right, because in Toronto, you can get much more affordable
Oh,
than you
absolutely.
can here, here you can get it, but you have to pay much
Yeah.
more money, so is that really equal? I don't think so. You know, and we all have said, you know, maybe the people in Toronto should pay a lot more.
Mhm.
Anyways, but I do agree, it's kind of redundant now because.
So I don't have a resolution in front of me.
You can just withdraw and.
Okay.
So,
Council agree to withdraw this resolution from DB.
Yeah, but should we say because the government has,
Because the
we have
position-
agreements, yeah.
it can be reflected in the minutes of the.
Okay.
Because I think it was a good idea.
It was a good idea. It's not yes. Was one of the main reasons why Premier Ford called that meeting with all the municipal leaders, because he was wanting to get that support. That brings us to the end of our business for this meeting. So I have a resolution that bylaw 2020-66 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for July 17th, 2020. He read it first and second time this 17th day of July 2020. And I have a mover and a seconder, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, be read a third time and finally passed this 17th day of July 2020. I'll call for the vote. Councilor Burns?
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld? Yes. Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you. I have a resolution that this meeting of council adjourns at 10:11 a.m. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld. Councilor Burns?
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
I'm a yes. That's carried. Thank you. We are adjourned.